Welcome back to Dubsy Bricks for another episode of building Gotham City in Lego, and we're going to be starting this episode up on working on the bridge here. I want to move the entire structure there down by around about 7 or 8 studs. That's going to help bring this road, the edge of the road, right to the edge of the platform there. What I would also like to do, the holes on the side there, I want them to start about 3 or 4 bricks higher up. It's also going to mean the arches are raised by that. Then I want to put the roof section or the top section on top of the bridge there, and then make a start on the suspension cables, which are going to go all the way across the bridge. So let's move this over to the table and let's get started. And just checking with a progress update on the bridge here. I've moved the main structure there back on the base plate by about 7 studs. And on the top section there, I've put some modified plates on the side, which I'm going to be putting some tiles on just to give it some added detail. I've also moved the arches up. So those structures along here, they're about 4 bricks higher now. And as you can see on the 2 sides here, I've also put some arches as well, as opposed to using some sloped bricks on some brackets. On here, as you can see, I've also made a start on putting the suspension cables up as well, using the ball joint pieces. What I need to do now is just connect a cable that goes all the way across, and it will connect at the bottom of the bridge just there. Now down this end, I've built this support. Now this isn't going to be what the permanent fixture is going to look like. However, I want something a little bit tighter, a little bit stronger for the time being until I'd work out how it's going to look exactly. Chances are the building itself, the actual train station, will help to take the support of that, and I won't actually need a structure there. It will just be built into the building basically. So what I'm going to do now, I need to build 2 pillars that's going to go up to the right height, so be the same height as this structure just here, and then I can connect the suspension cable that goes all the way across there. And here we have the first attempt at the suspension cables on the bridge. Relatively happy with how they're looking at the moment. I will be tweaking them and seeing what I can do to improve them. But the general idea has come out as I was hoping it was going to do so. Whether or not I put more of the downright ones on there, I'm not sure yet. And one thing I am considering doing is putting some grill tiles all over the studs on the cables going both up and down. Now they do go up and down at the moment. They're very fiddly to connect together, and at the moment they're not permanently kept in place. So I want to put something on top that's going to help to keep that all together so they don't just pop off. And on this end I haven't even connected it just yet, so I just need to modify that. But all in all, quite happy with the first attempt at this. Now at the moment, as you can see, the ball joint piece is actually built into the brick wall there, and I'm considering moving these modified plates up by 1 row so they're either side of that ball joint piece. And then what I'll do is I'll put a tile going all the way along there to hide the look of it, and I think it's just going to give it a tidier, more flush, polished look. So that's just something else again I'm considering. Now on this bridge section just here, I haven't built the road that's going to be going out there back just yet, and I'm going to hold fire on doing that for the time being until I've moved the Lego City into its new home, whenever that may be. Hopefully it will be in the next 2 or 3 months, but I might be able to extend the city in that direction if I can. It would just be nice to know that I don't have to redo that part. And next up, we're going to be working on the road that comes in and out of ARKHAM Island. Now, originally, I was going to be having it so the road went over to the bridge here, and it was going to be connecting up to the top. However, I thought the road was going to be too steep. I was then going to do another bridge which was suspended from the suspension bridge, and it went across to there and then along. However, again, I just think that's going to look too untidy, and I quite like that bridge as it is at the moment. One other thing I was considering doing was rotating the island round by 90 degrees and then just having a second bridge which came straight across to the raised platform area. However, the problem with that is the island is so close to the edge of the base plates on that end, if I rotated by 90 degrees, it'd be pretty much touching the bridge there. So again, that's not an option. Now what I could do is have a bridge that comes out and then it goes along, curves around, comes across, and then to the raised platform area. But again, I'm not sure how that's going to look having a curved section just there. I have made up this plate here, which I was thinking it would be like so, but I just don't know whether it would look good having it suspended over there. I can put some uprights from the water, which I think would look quite cool. However, the other option I've got is to have it coming straight across here. I don't want it to go to that point just there, as that's the loading bay where the prisoners are taken into the section just there. So what I could do is amend that wall there. I could take that away, put the wall on there, and the road would lead up to that. So I've just got to decide on what I'm going to do with that, but it's It's not going to look exactly how I wanted it to, but I can't really see any way out of it at the moment. If I do extend the mock, I could move the whole island over and then I could rotate it. So again, whether or not this is just something I do as a temporary fix, I'm not sure just yet. And there is the start of the road that leads to and from ARKHAM ASYLUM to the raised platform area. It's just propped up by a couple of bricks on this end at the moment. Once I've got the train station all built and the buildings along there on that part of the raised platform, I will permanently attach it to that and build it into there. With the corner just there, I may change that further down the line. Once I've moved the Lego City, I'm going to have a lot more access to that part and I might be able to do a better job with that. But happy with it as it is at the moment. On the support structure at the bottom, again, that's something I'm considering changing, but all it'll be a case of is change this so it's 8 studs by 8 studs and then using the 45-degree slopes on there. However, I haven't got that many of those at the moment, so I'm just going to leave it as it is for the time being. But again, it is something that's really easy to change over. Next up, I'm going to see if I can find some grey bricks out and do the roads for both the bridges just to see what it's going to look like once it's all finished. And there are the roads put in place on both the bridges, and it's amazing how much difference just that little detail makes to it. For those people that have been watching the Gotham Build series from the very beginning, you'll know the layout of this city has changed on so many occasions, and even in the last few weeks it's changed with the idea of putting the 2 railway tracks in on the mock. Now, one thing I am going to do now is just place all of the buildings where they're actually going to be so I can see where the tracks are going to go and also put the tracks in. So I'm going to try and suspend them all up. I haven't got enough bricks to make all of these support structures, but I want to make sure that the train track goes exactly where I want it to go. Now, one thing I was originally considering doing when I decided on the 2 train lines here was to have this one come along and then it would just disappear off the end of the table as if the Gotham City continued. However, I don't think that's going to be quite as good. It'd be nice to have 2 trains that are constantly running around the city. One thing I am considering doing is the inside line there, actually taking it in earlier around here. So I have 2 train lines going parallel with each other along that section. So I just want to see how that's going to work, where the buildings will sit if I do go down that route, and then I'll be able to work out exactly what buildings I need to build. Another thing is, well, down this end, I eventually will need to have a building which is going to be tall enough to have a train station, which is going to be the same height as the Wayne Tower part as well. So again, I need to work out where I'm going to be putting the train stations within this mock. One other thing I need to do still is amend the fire station. So again, that's something I'm going to be taking into consideration whilst I'm having a play around with the plans of the city. So let's clear the mess off at the back here, see what we can do with suspending the train lines, and then we can decide what building is going where. And that's the raised train line all in place, and really loving how this is coming together now. It's really starting to give me a better visual of what I need to do and where I'm going forward with this. Bearing in mind there is still going to be another train line higher than those bricks just there, which is going to be the one that goes through Wayne Tower. The Flatiron-esque building we've got here, there is going to be another building behind this which is going to be just as tall, and that's going to have a couple of train stations or train stops built into it. One up high for where the train that goes through Wayne Tower is, and also one down here for the lower line just there. I do also want to build another train station or train stop over that side as well somewhere. Whether or not I build it connected to the front of the Flatiron building there, I'm not sure. It could be a good place to put it, but really happy, as I said, with how this is all coming together. Now, the buildings I have still got to design and work out exactly where I'm going to put them is the Monarch Theatre. Crime Alley's got to be put in there as well. I want a clock tower as well, and also we need to put the bank in. So there's plenty of buildings still to go in, as well as a building which is going to have the Court of Owls. A clock tower, I'm thinking, is possibly going to be going just here. I think it'd be quite a good place to have that. And just down here, this is going to be a lot more pedestrianised, I suppose. There's a lot bigger area now. The road goes along here, so all of this here is going to be pavement areas. So it is going to give me an area where I can put possibly a small park, something like that, with some trees and greenery, just to give the mock a little bit of colour. The bridge at the back there, really happy with how that's coming together and how it's all looking. But there is still so much more planning I need to do with this city. Now, as I mentioned a little while ago, I will be dismantling this city in the coming months. We are hoping to move house, and that does mean I need to move all of this to the new Lego room. So again, it's the reason I'm not going too far up with certain parts of it. As the one other thing you'll notice is the fire station has gone. That's down on the floor down there. It's still in one piece at the moment. However, I do need to make it so you can fit on 32 deep base plates. And again, that is another building I need to find a home for on the city here. The garage, that won't be staying. I don't want any sets within the build. I want it all to be my own creations. The Sanctum Sanctorum obviously is the wrong universe anyway, but again, that will be moved. I just want to put that there to picture having another building, and obviously the Daily Bugle won't be staying either. That'll be a totally different skyscraper. One thing I do want to do pretty soon is build a train, just so I know how high it's going to be. I've never done the train set, as I mentioned last week, let alone building an actual train as well. So I'm going to get the set out that I purchased, build the train up, and that's going to give me an idea of how I go about building the trains that are going to be going around Gotham City. Anyway, hope you've enjoyed the update. Unfortunately, there wasn't as much building as I'd like this week. We had a power cut here in Ireland due to the really bad storms. We were out of power for 24 hours. The battery was dead on my camera, and it really restricted how much filming I could do. Anyway, hope you've enjoyed the update all the same. If you have, please remember to give us a big thumbs up. If you haven't already done so, please consider subscribing to the channel and hit that notification bell so you don't miss any future content on the channel. If you know anybody else you think will be interested in this Building Gotham series or Building Mandalore, please share the channel with them. Anyway, thanks for popping on by, and I'll see you next time. Bye for now.